All right, I've got like just two more questions here, Joe. I've talked to several young people about why they haven't participated in the resistance, especially more publicly. Several of them have said that they would participate more if they felt it would make a difference. Mm-hmm. What do you say to voters who feel that once an elected official is in office, there's nothing they can do to make a difference? Mm-hmm. And yeah, so we'll just leave it at that.
We do, I don't even know how many events that we do a week. And so often the average age in any room where we're hosting a quote unquote political event is about 10 years older than I am. And so why don't young people show? Well, first of all, we don't make them feel welcome. And you've also got to think of what a young person is going through. Here in El Paso County, one thing that was really alarming to me is prior to the assembly, the county assembly, which is kind of the way that you have assembly, which kind of weeds out some of the candidates, and then you go on to the primary. So we had 5 candidates running at this point. The local college student group invited all 5 candidates to show up and do a forum on campus with the students. 3 of the 5 of us showed up. And of the 2 of us that are still in the race, I was the only one. And so how do we expect to have those conversations? How do we expect to engage young people if we're not willing to go and meet them in their spaces? And part of the problem is that we incentivize talking to rich donors and not voters, right? I know I'm not going to get $1,000 out of a college. I'm lucky to get $2 out of a college student. In fact, most of the time it costs me money because I got to give them free donuts and pizza. And I'm good with that if they're going to show up and do it. But on the other end of that spectrum, you have things that, well, I need money to fuel my campaign, so I'm going to spend all my time surrounding myself with rich donors that can bankroll my campaign, and I don't need to pay attention to anyone else because the young people, they'll show up and vote when it's time. We've also got to give them an opportunity to lead and give them opportunities in the political space where they can actually have a life and they're getting paid fairly to be out there and doing part of this work. We have an internship program as part of the campaign where it's not just hey, intern, do this job. It's giving them an actual leadership role, teaching them what it's like to be on a campaign, teaching them what it's like to do a field operation, and then putting them out there and say, hey, guess what? You go back to your college campus now, and you are going to be the one that organizes this event for the campaign without our support, because we want to see you do it. We want to see what you're able to show us your creativity around it. So in a practical sense, that's as what we as a campaign have done to be able to do that. But we've also got to talk about their issues, right? Every issue when we talk about affordability, young people are experiencing it just as we are, but they've got so much more uncertainty associated with it because it's the rest of their lives. And we're seeing some young people that have been told time and time again, well, if you just do well in high school and then you get to college and you'll be fine. Well, that's not their lived experience. And so how do we make sure that we're taking on issues like student debt, student loans?
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you real quick. Are you engaging anybody like, community, not like advocates or community liaisons for you? So for example, if you're going to the college campuses, are you engaging like a leadership person on the college campus that can then sort of advocate for you or be a liaison for your team so that they can spread your message from somebody who the rest of the college people can relate to easier?
So in many of those cases, like if we're talking to like young Dems or student Dems or a student Democratic association, mm-hmm. right? Just like in party politics, like they shouldn't be an agent for any particular campaign, but we do look to those organizations as a mechanism to engage with the student population, to make that direct invite to say, hey, can you help us spread word about this event that we're doing on your campus? Or are there events that we should be part of? So yeah, I think in some cases we are using that, but not necessarily as a spokesperson for the campaign, but as that kind of, again, that trusted point of entry to where we're able to engage with students and young people where they're at.